about 3 years of just no growth. And what I needed to do was figure out how I could make this company grow again. So what I did was I went to this conference in San Diego called Social Media Marketing World back in 2018, I think it was, just to figure out like what are thought leaders saying about social media, where are the opportunities, how can I get this business to grow again instead of flatlining. And back then, everyone was talking about storytelling. Like you have to be a storyteller, you have to kind of talk about your brand. Rather than selling it, you have to tell the stories behind the company. So I came back from that conference and I thought, okay, how can we reposition Sendable in a way that positions us as brand storytellers, leans into our truth, like figure out what makes us different from the likes of Hootsuite, Sprout Social, etc. And I went through this brand building exercise, kind of redesigning our brand strategy, looking at everything we could do differently to help us stand out. And what I figured out was, like, rather than pretending to be like everyone else, like having all this kind of putting money into ads, hiring salespeople, what if we could be more open about being smaller? Being smaller, being bootstrapped, being focused on the customer. What if we made that a public message for our users and our audience? So I started like sharing behind the scenes stuff, like just sharing behind the scenes like content about my struggles as a founder, about the company struggling, about how we kind of were like this small fish in this big sea of funded competitors. And people started like loving the storytelling. They started to lean into the story. I did things like I had a podcast sharing the behind the scenes stuff. Suddenly these customers were like telling their friends about Sendable and about the story and everything behind the scenes. And, I realized that companies like Hootsuite, they were kind of faceless brands. They had, hundreds of employees. They couldn't put a face to the brand. So we took this approach of just kind of doing everything we could to show our faces. We even removed stock images on the blog and have photos of real employees. We did things like use video for support. So rather than having a support ticket over text, you could have a asynchronous video conversation with a person from our support team. So just showing our faces wherever we could. And then our brand just really took off. So from that, we had this amazing group of advocates, of customers who are talking about Sendable, spreading the word, spreading the love, talking about our customer service, people behind the company. And our growth just took off from there. So just literally building that brand, spending time on telling stories. So we went from that stagnated period of growth in 2016, 2018, to growing at it's about 30% a year after that. So this is like a 10-year-old company growing at 30% a year again. And we reached a point where we had 7 figures in profits. I can talk about EBITDA just now, but I think that period of growth really helped to get us on the radar of possible acquirers. So we had the likes of other tech companies reaching out to us, wanting to acquire us, because our brand had become so big, just from storytelling, really.
Thanks for watching today's video. To grab your free copy of John Warrillow's best-selling book, Built to Sell, head over to 𝑏uilttosell.com. John's book, Built to Sell, has been endorsed by well-known entrepreneurs like Tim Ferriss, Patrick Bet-David, Dan Lok, amongst many others. But don't just hear it from me, hear it from them.
The most well-known book is Built to Sell. That would be the mega best-selling book. Built to Sell gave me the steps, like exactly what to do, right?
One of them being a book I read in 2012 titled Built to Sell that I've recommended to any entrepreneur out there.
There's a good book actually that people can read, which gives them pretty much the gist in the title, and that is Built to Sell.
This book talks about how to get your life back once your business takes over, how to focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing well, and how to build a scalable business that can be sold. Building a business that can be sold is much different than building a profitable business that relies on you, and you are the bottleneck inside your entire company.